and Allied Pilot Association spokesman Captain Dennis Tager and Tigris Financial Partners Ivan Feinseth. Dennis, I will start with you. You've flown the MAX jets. What do you make of all of this, and what would you tell both the investor audience and passengers who fly these planes about the situation right now?
Well, I'll stand with our CEO on this, Robert Isom. He's right. They got to get their act together. As a matter of fact, stop acting like a company that builds airplanes and be one. This is another letdown. It's a bit of a national tragedy, fortunately not with loss of life, but you have a major institution that is failing to live up to the standard of delivering these products safely and reliably. 20% drop in stock, $30 billion in market cap. If I was a shareholder, I'd be upset. As a pilot, I'm outraged. You got to build an airplane that's safe. And we've had a series of things this year in 2023, misdrilled holes in production, rudder assembly, bolts missing, now this door. And Senator Duckworth just released a letter today voicing one of our concerns. All the MAXs flying right now today have an FAA restriction to not run the engine anti-ice for more than 5 minutes in dry air. Very easy thing to miss for a pilot. If you do, the FAA says the engine could explode, penetrate the passenger cabin, and you might have to do an off-airport landing. Oh. It's absolutely not the way you build an airplane. Now, we can handle this on a temporary basis, but I'm down to putting Post-it notes up in the cockpit to remind me to turn off something that might blow up in the air if I forget. That's just unacceptable. So, okay. Our trust is beyond shaken.
Yeah. Well, listen, we stand with the pilots for sure on many of these issues. Ivan, let's look at it from the shareholder standpoint here. Ivan, Southwest, Delta, JetBlue, Spirit, and American do not use the 737-9s, MAX 9s in their fleets. Does that give them some type of special dispensation when it comes to any hit that's going to come to their stock? Would you go into those names versus United and Alaska Air, which use the 737 MAX 9s?
Well, I think first, there is no margin of error here. I mean, it's got to be zero. And these planes really have to be safe because, God forbid, something were to happen. The plus side is the travel industry is on fire. I mean, consumer spending has shifted to spending on travel. The post-pandemic boom on travel is going to continue. Every airplane today is full. You go to the airports, they're crowded. Hotels are getting, airline tickets are up, hotel rooms are up. So luckily, we're going through a travel boom. Sadly, airlines desperately need more planes, and this reduction or the ability for Boeing not to increase their production is going to hurt the airlines.
Well,
but we can't have any.
Alaska says its current quarter is going to be hurt, obviously, yes, because of what happens. So what I'm asking is my original question: do you avoid the companies that fly these planes, or is that just nitpicking? And
I think you don't be plane specific because you want all planes to be perfect. And I still say you buy good companies when they're going through a difficult time, like Boeing. Sadly, Boeing was recovering nicely. It was just over $260 a share before this happened, and now it got hit again. And Boeing did incredibly well at the Dubai Air Show. They outperformed Airbus by almost 4-1. They had over 200 orders from that show versus Airbus's 50. Boeing has been on a roll. It's been incredible.
Some of these companies, Dennis, are saying, let me look at Airbus. And I don't know your familiarity with the Airbus jets, but I will ask you about specifically the fact that Alaska Airlines says in just 8 days, they'll be ready to put their 737 MAX 9s back in the air. Is that a good thing? Is that fair? Is that an appropriate decision?
Well, yeah, they've done the inspections. They found the areas. They found bolts missing. So as every aircraft is inspected and found to be safe, the FAA will make that call. But that's a responsible move once they found the problem. But the key to this is that you have, we talk about Airbus or Boeing. Both build fine aircraft, but Boeing has fallen down on the process. The key error trapper in this are pilots. They count on us to trap the errors in production and in equipment. That's our job. But when you make that as your only way to go, then we've got a problem here. 2 experienced and trained pilots can make the difference between life and death, and they did on that Alaska flight. So we've got to make sure that the federal government doesn't mess with that minimum level as well, and we can get this done. But safety culture is a tough space, and you got a tough talk, but more importantly, you've got to act tough to defend the margin of safety.
And Ivan, you have a buy on Boeing still. Yes. My only push here to our viewers, too, is that it may be very easy to flip out about this, and it is terrifying because it's on TV, and we show the door having blown out, and you see people's cell phones. But the last air crash of a U.S. jetliner was in 2009 in Buffalo. These are incredibly safe on balance. So do you take that into account? Or when you see these pictures of the door plug flown up, that's terrifying.
You got to, like Reagan said, trust but verify. You always got to be careful. You always got to, double check.
So you're keeping your buy on Boeing?
Yes. I think that we have seen so far throughout all of these issues with Boeing, the stock has been a buy on any major pullback. And I think these problems will be resolved. And hopefully there's a learning that takes place to make even, future ability to be even more safe and more secure moving forward.
On the factory floor. Ivan, thank you. Dennis, thank you. And the whole pilot group over at American Airlines and all the pilots. I always say the two people you never shorten your life are your pilot and your surgeon. Pay them. The expertise is life-saving. So thanks very much to both of you.